can create a beautiful meal with and share with the world a kinder way to live. Corner for a healthy diet brings to you cooking good vegan, plant-based food.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to Corner for a Healthy Diet, podcast episode number 9. I am your host, Adam Sinclair. We're about to get started, but before we do, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to a gentleman that goes by the name of Vaughn the Stampede, where he'll be talking about his success on YouTube doing interviews for R&B artists, so stay tuned. Look to Wellness Group Home Care. They are located in Troy, Michigan, 2609 Crooks Road in Troy, Michigan, 48084. Look to them if you have a aging loved one that needs medical care. They can send out a certified nursing assistant out to your loved one's home and help care with the modern assistance when it comes down to assisted living. Look to Wellness Group Home Care. Their telephone number is 888-779-8431. We all need some help as we age and get older. We need someone in the home to be able to look out for our loved ones when you can't, when you're at work, and we know how it is. So therefore, once again, ladies and gentlemen, look to Wellness Group Home Care. They have a 4-hour minimum up to 24-hour care. So look to Wellness Group Home Care for that solution. Also, Detroit_Foodie. Detroit_Foodie. They are friends of mine. They have a very, very successful Instagram page where they show you all of the great eateries in the Detroit area. So when you're in town visiting Detroit or going to the Detroit area, look to Detroit_Foodie. Again, they actually have a list of a lot of different type of restaurants and things. So therefore, look to Detroit_Foodie. You can locate them on Instagram. Very good friends of mine. And also, for those that are into sports, which is tennis, which is one of my favorites, I've been playing for years, look to Total Tennis. Total Tennis, 248-594-1749. Look to Total Tennis. They are located in Birmingham, Michigan. Their actual address is 2519 West Maple Road, Bloomfield Township, Michigan, 48301. Their telephone number again is 248-594-1749. Or you can send him an email at totaltennis2519@att.net. You can pull up his website, which is totaltennismichigan.com, and you will actually see his accessories of tennis rackets and accessories. Does the stringing there as well, clothing, shoes, and more. So if you are visiting on vacation here in Detroit and you're looking to tighten up your equipment, please check out Total Tennis. Also, last but not least, Grubhub for all your Grubhub needs. We know how it is with the pandemic that's going on, where we couldn't get inside of the restaurants, sit down in the restaurants. Now, even though it's lightening up a little bit, but for those that are still practicing social distancing, you want to look to Grubhub. Grubhub will carry or actually deliver your food with the Grubhub driver. You know, I'm also a Grubhub driver part-time myself sometimes, so I'm not afraid to admit it. So therefore, look to Grubhub for all your Grubhub delivery need. All right, so we are back. Welcome to Corner for a Healthy Diet podcast episode number 9. We have made it to number 9, ladies and gentlemen. So I have with me today a gentleman by the name of Von. He called himself Von the Stampede. This is a wonderful YouTube blog that he has started years ago. But what I like about it is that he has a passion for old school R&B rappers that you no longer hear about. But his basic channel is nothing more than a mini short of Unsung. So many of you guys that watch Unsung, check it out. You can check him out. I have him here right now in the studio. Say what's going on, Von.
What's going on, everybody? Hey. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you so
yeah.
much. Yeah.
All
thank
right.
You. Thank you for having me here.
Oh, yeah, not a problem at all. Yeah, we had some technical difficulties the last time that we recorded this, ladies and gentlemen. So, other than that, he was nice enough to be able to reschedule and do it. So right now he's back. So we're going to make sure that that's taken care of. So Von, go ahead and tell everybody about yourself and everything. I'm going to leave it to you, give you the show, give you the floor.
Okay. Well, my name is Javon. I go by Von for short. And with the idea for the Unsung short, one day I was like watching Unsung, and I was like thinking to myself, like, wow, there's like a lot of artists, they haven't covered yet. And where it all started for me, where I was like, okay, let me make a top 5 Unsung episodes that I want to see. And then like one of my friends was telling me, like, why don't you just make your own? And I was like, well, okay, I'll just make my own. I'm no Gary Anthony Williams, or I can like have these artists, in my videos or anything. I just gather up information from like Wikipedia or musicbiograph.com, and then I just did my own little thing. It was probably like maybe 10 minutes or like 15 minutes of video. And one of the videos that blew up was the Immature Unsung. That video, I say that's probably one of my highest views. I had like 100K. So it just blew up, man. Because like a lot of people was like, they thought it was the real Unsung. Because at first I called it Unsung, and then I didn't call it short shit, but I had to call it Unsung Shorts because one, it wasn't the real Unsung, and a lot of people got confused because they was like, well, this is the real Unsung. I was like, do I sound like Gary Anthony Williams? Like, do you see the production is a lot more different than the real Unsung? But you know what? That actually helped me with with voiceovering, writing, and gathering all my information, because it is a long process. Which a lot of people don't understand that. When you're like doing like documentary videos or like project videos, when you're doing everything by yourself, it takes a long time to do. It's not like, I could like do it in like maybe an hour or two. No, it takes a long time, especially if you want to get things right. You don't want to get everything wrong, or you don't want to look like a fool when you post something, with it's supposed to be very informative, and then you don't have all your facts right.
Exactly. So yeah, it's definitely a process though, for sure. I know about it from the podcast side of it. So how you prepare and things. So far as in the mindset, Von, so what are some of the things you do in order to prepare before, releasing a video blog on YouTube?
So okay, so how I get all the Unsung videos done. So what I do first, I go on the internet, look up the information, take notes, paraphrase of what the notes is like telling me, and I gather clips like music, like music videos or like interviews from like the artists to like get like a certain feel, so I can like reference of what I'm talking about. Like say like, I don't know, maybe they had like a drunken past, and then I play that clip, after that or before that. And what was one of the most difficult things with Unsung Shorts is the music, because hey, it's a music documentary. You gotta play some of the music, and YouTube copyrights are very funny, so I have to like play it like 5 to 3 seconds. I can't play it that long. Just to have like for artists get a feel on who these artists are, what type of music they heard. Because if I don't play any of the music, some people gonna be like, well, you could at least put some of the music on there, and it's very difficult. I think that's one of the most difficult parts of making unsung shorts is the music, because copyright infringement, and especially like if I have to like make it make the music like sound like a chipmunk, or flip the footage upside down to pass that copyright. Because for people who don't understand with copyright, especially when my videos are being monetized, that one, if my videos are not monetized, I won't get any money. And another thing is that a lot of people won't be able to see my videos, so it could be very difficult of like, doing this project, and then there's something in the way from preventing people from watching like your video that you worked really hard on. So if I worked on a video for like 2 or 3 weeks, I'm like, dude, I worked really hard on that, and and my video has got some attention. So that's how I like get prepared for the unsung. It's just taking notes, putting the clips together. The hardest part is just putting everything together and saying like, okay, I have my notes right here. I have like the script right here. I have to say what I wrote out loud in the microphone and make sure it sounds authentic. There are some mistakes I made, like maybe I said a city wrong. Like for example, I said Tesla. I think Tesla, Oakland. Did I say it right?
Oh yeah, Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla. I think I said Tesla.
Yeah, it's all good.
People caught me on that. So I do learn like what type of mistakes I made, and I try to like improve upon that.
Sure.
So,
Yeah. None of us are perfect, man. Like I said, it happens. It definitely does. Because even when you don't get things right, but since we're talking about that right now, if you say something that may not be the actual truth, because you're really a form of journalism. So, and I know with things that we have to retract the statement and things, could you give us some examples as to what happened in your life with, I know you experienced stuff like that, but yeah, go right ahead.
Can you repeat that question? I'm so sorry, man.
Oh, it's okay. No, it's all good. So for an example, like you experience an issue with the Mary Jane girls. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's, okay, now I know what you're talking about. So, so not recently, but maybe like a month ago, where I made a unsung video of the Mary Jane girls. And the video was doing fairly well, getting 3K. And then one of the group members found my Facebook, my social media page. And at first I didn't think it was real. I thought it was like fake or somewhat. So I was like, okay, this is kind of odd. So I, accepted it. And it was Candy from the Mary Jane girls. And we had like a conversation, she said, hey, you got your information wrong on how we broke up and how we all came together. And she gave me her version of what really happened. So I was just like, wow, okay. It was really fascinating, how she met Rick James, how there, like, to make a long story short, there was like some, I believe it was like some personality stuff going around and the legal stuff. So from what I heard, it was like the legal stuff that was going around, and I was like, wow, this is just really amazing. From learning like their experience of what's been going on,
Right. Exactly. So, and I know you mentioned that it was something that was circulating about one of the members or one or two of the members. That was allegedly not the case. It was allegedly that one of them was supposed to have been, like a prostitute or something like that. Allegedly,
Okay, allegedly. Okay, that was not true.
Okay.
One of the members, Maxie, that people saying that she was a prostitute and stripper, that never happened. That never happened. I got it from her, so that's not true. Like, it was just a rumor that was being spread around. Like, so I can't really go into details because I'm trying to like get, more information on like how did that occur. But the whole stripper thing, that's completely false.
Okay, because
I just want to say that because I don't want to like get in trouble or say like she said like that never happened, and she told me herself that never happened.
Exactly.
And there was just something. Oh, hold on, sorry. There was just something going on. God, oh, wow. There was like just something going around with the group members, so just those type of rumors just being spread around without anybody like confirming on who said what. So
okay, so yeah, and that was the rumor part. That's why we always put out the word allegedly on things for legal purposes. But Maxine, so was it okay? So Maxine and Julia Waters, those are the two that contacted you.
No, it was Candace Grant,
Okay.
Candy and Maxine.
Okay,
Maxine was the ones who they were the ones who contacted me.
Okay.
And, it wasn't like anything bad or anything. Just say, hey, you got your information wrong. Well, okay, well, I got my information wrong. I'll, do better. So,
okay.
But that also told me that there are people who are musicians or in that sort of celebrityism is watching your stuff. So,
exactly. Exactly. I was about to say because looking at your channel. And things, Von the Stampede, you have some very, very great artwork. Just looking at the artwork, the graphics on there and everything. So if I would have known any better, you're very welcome. If I would have known any better, I would have actually probably would assume that this was the actual Unsung, but on a YouTube version of it, because it looks very, very polished. It looks very, very well put together,
Oh, thank you. The funniest thing about that, like the graphics I made, I did all the graphics, so it was easy to do since I'm like a graphic designer, So I just had to give out that little polish or that little like, okay, this will try to like make it look professional, even though you're not with the big leagues or you're one of the producers. Act like you're part of the crew. That's just my motif, especially if you want to make your stuff look professional to that degree.
Absolutely, and you did a very, very great job with that. But going back to the Mary Jane girls again, so what was that whole experience for you like when Candy or Candace Gant when she reached out to you for the first time? What was that experience like?
You know what? That was an interesting experience because I was on the phone with her for like maybe like 2 hours of her telling me her whole experience of how she met Rick James and how Rick James was like, he really believed in the Mary Jane girls. He was really passionate about that project. Excuse me. And I didn't know that she was from Detroit also, so that was really cool. It was just really, in my opinion, I thought that was like really amazing hearing her experience of what she, had to go through because like, she was when she was in the group, well, not in the group, but when she started, she was kind of skeptical of being in the group because she was like, oh, I don't know, but, Rick James came to her house. This is what she told me. Rick James came to her house and he was like, do you know who I am, Rick James? You're like, don't you ever like hang up on the phone or like, disrespect me like that. and she was like, dang, okay, well, they talked about it, how the group was going to be. And then that's how she joined the group. Like, you could ask her herself, she has an Instagram. Cause, I was like, oh wow, like really, like, cause I wasn't like cuss or anything. I was like, you sure you didn't say I'm Rick James, the B word? So, that was just like, wow, that was really cool. Cause I never really talked to any musicians in that sort of level of their experience, especially like during the 80s. So that was real cool. And she also explained that Rick James was like, a party dude, and she just wasn't into that type of stuff. And I think later down the line, my memory is foggy. I think she wants to do other things besides being a singer, and things like that happen. Sometimes you just want to do other things besides doing a music career. Maybe have like some other things that you just want to do, because sometimes that thing don't last forever. But like the Candace Grant, that was a interesting experience. I couldn't record or anything like that because I had to ask permission. So that was just it was an interesting conversation, real interesting.
Wow, that is really, really interesting. And that's another thing too. I didn't know that she was from Detroit originally either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was surprising too.
Yeah, very, very surprising.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was the thing about that. That's interesting. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So do you still stay in contact with Candy or?
Yeah. I send him a message every blue moon saying like, hey, how you doing? Be safe. Wear your mask and stuff like that. Like I'm supposed to interview Maxie and another group member, but it's not gonna happen anytime soon. I'm waiting for them to say like, to give me the go ahead, because right now Maxie's in California, and California right now is on lockdown.
Yes.
So I'm just waiting patiently. Whenever they say, I'm just gonna link up with them again and say like, hey, if you wanted to like do like a interview real quick, tell me like your side of the story, that'll be really cool. And speaking of Candy, there was one thing she said to me about the Unsung, and I asked like, I was asking like, yeah, how come you guys like haven't like the Unsung producers like ever contacted or any of the group members? And I think the reason she said this is what she said, and it's not word for word, but she said along the lines with there's too many different personalities. So
okay.
I'm assuming that they didn't like get along because hey, one's a diva, the other is this person, or that person is jealous. So to me, I think it was just like, okay, there's different personalities going on.
Oh, okay, yeah, and that's unfortunately, you hear that in a lot of bands. It's very, very challenging to get a lot of personalities to expect to get along. Though I know with New Edition and a lot of these other band groups and things, when Bobby Brown and all that, I know we saw the remake of the New Edition story and things, and which would probably be interesting for you to interview them as well for Unsung.
Yeah.
But far as getting back to, I know you mentioned about Maxine Waters that was in the group for Mary Jane Girls. Could the other member be JoJo McDuffie by chance? Because I know she was the lead singer.
I don't think it's JoJo.
Okay.
I think it's someone else. Sorry if I like forgot about the person's like name, but I think it's someone else.
Okay.
So because from what I heard, from what they told me, they haven't talked to JoJo in years. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess you guys are like not really close like that. So
sure.
That's what I assume. I'm not going to put out any rumors or anything like that.
Okay.
I'm just assuming like, I'm just assuming that they probably just lost touch and they just haven't kept up with each other.
Sure.
And that happens.
Oh yeah, and it definitely does. So now with some of the other people that now that we have covered that one, because I know for old school for real, they know about the Mary Jane Girls and kind of getting a little bit of fact information about them and things, which I do appreciate it. And now I know you have another story with Mature too, Immature, the group.
I think I told you I like that like the Immature video. I think I don't really have like any stories like that besides the video going like 100K, like that's pretty much about it. I do have like two stories about the Tony Tone and the
Sure.
Living Color one.
Okay. All right.
So
Well, let's hear it. Yeah, that's cool.
okay, so I'll go with Tony Tone first. So Tony, that video I really enjoyed doing. I grew up listening to Tony. Especially what I believe it was their fourth album in '96, where they just kind of disbanded. But anyway, the video it did like 100K. It was real cool, but the only drawback with the video is that a lot of people said, "Man, you didn't check out the royalty documentary about the other members of the group." And I checked out the documentary, and I was like, "Wow, I wish this documentary would have got the perspective with Ralph, Dwayne, and Timothy, because we focus on the other four members who, let's be honest, people kind of just didn't really pay attention to them. Like no dirt on them, but it is what it is. But we never got, if we had at least Dwayne, Ralph, or Timothy's point of view, I would have liked the documentary more. It just focused too much on the members who got screwed over.
Right.
And it just felt a little one sided. Where if you couldn't at least get one out of three of them, then I kind of was not interested. But it was a fine documentary. It was just people who kept commenting in my YouTube channel like, you forgot that, you forgot to talk about the other members. And if I did, I just would have said, okay, this member, the four other members got like screwed over, and it would have been really quick. It wouldn't be like long or drawn out, because I don't think like a lot of people probably wouldn't even recognize them unless you told people like, oh yeah, they was in Tony. It wasn't like the main three that we see up front. It was the other members who was just way in the back.
Okay.
So I thought that was kind of like interesting and cool. The Living Color one, that one to me is my favorite, because I did something a little different. Instead of talking about R&B, I talked about a black rock and roll band, and I feel like those guys didn't really get the credit they deserve, because they was kind of caught between the middle, because they wasn't like a all white group where they could just be like with bands like Poison and Guns N' Roses, or any of those guys like in the '80s. And they certainly wasn't like, people who was like Al B. Shore or Bobby Brown, because they was right in the middle between, New Jack Swing and, 80s glam rock, and they did their own thing, and they can do like elements of rock and roll and R&B. But, their fan base was like so divided, because you didn't know where you can put them. And it wasn't their fault, because, Living Color, they was a band that talked about like, race issues and all the political stuff, but it wasn't in your face. It was just like, dang, they just hit it really well. But that group right there, I feel like that they faced a lot of discrimination on, what type of band they were, because a lot of people couldn't really define them. Like even people who were like in the rock group, they were like, well, are they a rock and roll band, or are they an R&B band? And I felt like, well, they are a rock and roll band,
Right.
They just knew how to do everything. It was like second nature. If you need them to do blues, they can do it. If they can do R&B, they can do it. Like a song called "Love Rears Ugly Head." That's a great example of them doing R&B and blues together with just rock ballads and all that other stuff. So I feel like that group never really got a chance to be talked about enough, especially in that era of like the late '80s and early '90s. They were there, but too many people didn't really like talk about them, in my opinion.
Right. Exactly.
So,
exactly though. But like you said, it has a lot to do with how they were classified and things. I'm very familiar with the group and things. So was it the lead vocals of that group, Corey Glover? And things.
Yep, Corey Glover.
Yep, and things. So there was a few songs that I liked by them. I definitely know who they are for sure though. So And I believe they're still together too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, they have like a Instagram, and it's running, it's active. So they're still going strong, especially with this climate going around with police brutality and Black Lives Matter. So for them, this is not saying like it's perfect because of the climate, but it's kind of like, man, especially like their songs is really relevant towards today because like there's a song called not Cult of Personality. It's called Funny Vibe,
Okay.
and one of the lyrics in Funny Vibe was talking about like how certain people see black people, like
Interesting.
like I'm not gonna rape you, I'm not gonna steal from you, and it was really relevant. This was like 1988, and now we in 2020. It's like, holy crap, man! Like some people thought like, oh wow, this is kind of interesting, but then we look at the video and the lyrics together. It's just like, wow, it's people who still label certain people because of their skin color.
Right.
So
exactly.
I thought that was really fascinating for them to do that because, like, again, they weren't like a band that was like in your face with the political issues. They did their thing, and the music was really good. That you just had to read the lyrics of what they were really talking about.
Exactly. And they remind me of how you hear like a lot of reggae music. But other than that, getting back to Living Color, as I was about to mention, so they remind me, how you listen to a lot of the lyrics of particular songs and things, and they have like a message, whether if it's political or some type of social injustice. It remind me, like, this is why one of the reasons why I love reggae so much with reggae, because it's basically off of the same thing. You listen to a lot of Bob Marley's music, even Steel Pulse and a lot of these other guys, some of the famous reggae songs and stuff, they have like that same message, even though they're coming from more of a hard, like rock and roll perspective, but it's basically with some of the same messages. Because again, as black folk, as we all are, when we want to tell our story, and we talk a lot about some of the things that happen, unfortunately, but true. So, but yeah, that it just you brought up a point about that. But yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah. Like like again, like you were saying, like the social justice that's been going around, and that, to me, that's really cool, man. I just wish that they got like a lot of credit. And another thing I want to add is that I'm going to talk about like Tony again and Living Color. They were like one of those group members, or not group member, but one of those musicians that played instruments and like did elements of R&B. I know Mid Condition should be added there too, and there are other artists. I'm just talking about the two bands I'm talking about now. I find that really interesting that that you can play an instrument and do R&B songs, especially during that era.
Yes.
A lot of back then, especially in Jack Swing, it was all about, okay, I could just hit the keyboard, add those drums, and bam. And if you could dance, all right, that's cool. Like Al B. Shore, Bobby Brown, New Edition, they were just singing and dancing. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with that. I just find it really interesting that people who can play instruments and have like great melodies with sorry, I'm touched with it. With playing like instruments, I find that interesting.
Exactly, because Mint Condition was one of those groups that can definitely do it, though. I remember the one song, "Brown Eyes" or "Pretty Brown Eyes" that they did. Yes, sir. Yep,
Yes,
exactly.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly. So yeah, those guys right there. Now they were fire too when they first came out, but yeah, I'm definitely familiar with Mint Condition though. So if you throw them in there, and then you got Shy and Silk and Intro, these were like as you know, they were like great R&B groups and stuff. You had Guy before that, even the predecessors before all them, but when you start going into Ready for the World, which would be interesting to hear you do something with them one day.
Yeah. I just have to like get like information because the thing I don't want to do is say like I announce like a group that I'm gonna do, and then I find like I excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
if I can't find like the information about them, then I'll just be like I can't do it because there's not enough like information. Because I did that one time with a group called Arts and Crafts.
Okay.
And that group is they did a song. You know the movie House Party, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they did a song called Shirley. Like Shirley, I want you. Shirley, I need you. And I was like, hey man, like I was looking up this group and like looking up information for them was very, very hard. They don't even have like a Wikipedia page. They probably do, but it's like it's not enough information. It's like a sentence, like, oh, they was in the movie House Party, and that was it.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so like I have to find like information that's like at least good for like 4 or 5 minute video.
Okay.
So
Wow. Yeah.
other than that,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, other than that, yeah, it's yeah. So
Yeah, but with
yeah,
them,
that's all I want to say.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, it's all
go
good.
ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah, with the mint condition, because we know they're from Minnesota,
Mm-hmm.
and things, the home of Prince and all that. So we can pretty much know that they were very much inspired with him. A lot of great groups and stuff come out of Minnesota though, and they're one of them. That's for sure. You know. And but yeah, with the group, definitely remember, yeah, mint condition and stuff. So, what was that experience when you did the Unsung short with this particular group? Anything else that was other than them being all band and things? It sounds like this is really something fun that you enjoy doing out of a lot of them.
Yeah, I think like learning that the band members like the lead singer Corey Glover, he was in a movie. I don't think it's called Apocalypse Now, but it was a war movie with Charlie Sheen. I can't think of it, but he had like a few speaking roles on that as an actor. Um, one of the group members, Vernon Reed, the guitarist, I learned that like the experience he had to deal with on stage, like some racist skinhead came to the show and just like kept like antagonizing, like throwing up middle fingers and shit. And he said, what the fuck I'm supposed to do? Like beat his ass? I mean, I'm sorry, like sorry about that, the cursing, but he
Oh
said,
no,
man,
that's
what I'm
all
supposed
good.
to do, man?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like he said, I could go over there and knock him out, but then I'll be wrong if I do that. So he was kind of caught in the middle because he didn't know what to do. So
Right, right.
he was telling his experience about that. So he was just like angry with himself. It was learning that Mick Jagger helped promote their first album. So it
Right.
was just a lot of interesting things about those guys that they did collaborate with other artists like Chuck D, Little Richard. Let me see who else they collaborated with. They also collaborated with the WWE. One of the wrestlers used their songs called "The Personality." So it was just really cool though. Like a lot of people, which is weird, is a lot of people, maybe my age, they don't know that the people who sung "Cult of Personality," "Living Color" is black. They don't know that. I
Right.
find that very interesting.
Right. Yeah, because
So,
Corey Glover is the one from the actual Living Color there. But I know what you meant. And then you have Stokey, Ricky, Homer, Larry, and Jeffrey. That was the members
mm-hmm,
of Mint Condition and things. So
mm-hmm.
so now are they still together or because I know they
Okay.
came out. Yeah,
So,
yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
so for Living Color, you have Corey Glover,
Hmm.
Vernon Reed, Doug Wimbush, who's the drummer, and their they basic player Muzz Skillets. He left the group during their second album, so they still talk every now and then. But their other member, Doug Wimbush, I mean not Doug Wimbush, but excuse me, their other their other bass player. Sorry, I forgot his name. But their other bass player, he's he's still a member, and they kind of switch out the bass players. If one bass player can't make it to a gig, they just switch it to another one. So they're still they still contact with each other. They're all cool.
That's
They
cool.
still do live. Well, they can't do live shows now because of Corona, but their social media account is like super active. So whoever's running their social media account is like doing a good job. So,
Yeah, sound like they are too. Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. So with Living Color, though, as you named them, the band members there, exactly. So yeah, because Living Color, Code of Personality was one of my favorites in things,
Yeah.
but I find, and then I know there's another one too that really was unsung for real. I can't really remember if I really remember. There's a gentleman by the name of Chris Bender. Could you go into a little
Oh
bit?
yeah.
Go into a little bit about
So
his story.
so Chris Bender was an R&B artist from I believe he was from Boston, where New Edition was from. I think they were from Boston.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, he was an up and coming New Jack Swing R&B singer. And he had a lot of potential to be one of the greats out there. But unfortunately, that never happened because he got murdered. When him and his cousin was like they was in the car. I guess they were smoking blunts or whatever, and he got shot. He got caught in the crossfire, and he produced like a lot of nice tunes, man. That like even radio DJs like mix it in between. Like one of my favorite songs is called Spellbound, and I was like, wow, man, this dude, he them vocals was like awesome. He was like a young Luther Vandross.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really sad that we didn't know like what type of potential he would have had because he got shot in the back 4 times. That was it. He was done. And I think the only type of legacy he had is his nephew, who's a gospel singer. And
Okay.
it was just a sad story. It was like, wow, this dude was up and coming. He was gonna be like in the movie New Jack Swing, one of his soundtracks, but that just never happened. So it was like, wow, he had a promising career. It's just that if he kind of like just stayed away from his hometown, because his hometown was like not the greatest place to live. If he just stayed clear from that, he probably would have been fine.
Exactly. Yeah, because but you are right though. He's from Brockton. Brockton, Massachusetts. So yeah, I guess that will put somewhere around the area where New Edition
Yeah, yep.
is from and things.
Yep.
But Chris Lamont Bender. You're absolutely right about that though. I still can't recall him in my head though. I mean, it's amazing though, but he just had the one song or one album or
Well, he had 2 albums.
okay.
He had 2 albums. One of them did okay. It was like 89 in the Billboard R&B charts, and he came out with one video, and that was like the only video they had. They had another video, but I don't think they released it or they filmed it. So that's like the only type of footage you have with them. Like there's no interviews of them. It's just that one video. I'm like, wow, there's no interviews of this guy. Like no, but this was like what the 80s / the early 90s. So I don't know what type of platform. I mean, maybe Soul Train, but then that one, he wasn't up there yet, like Bobby Brown or like any of them. So I don't know. If this was like today, in his case, like if he was around today, he would have been interviewed everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, it's just. I guess back then, I guess we didn't have like those type of platforms where we had interview like R&B and rappers just coming up. So it's still sad at the end of the day when you think about it, because really it'd be really interesting to know what he was about as a person. So,
Absolutely.
Reading it is different from watching it, because all I just heard was okay, he dropped out of school when he was in the 11th grade, did his music career, and he kind of was a troublemaker. But then there's some different information about that from what I heard. Some people said the police didn't do their job or what happened. Some people say he got caught in the crossfire. He didn't really get into trouble like that. And it was just really hard to differentiate okay, who is really Chris Bender? So I do that video of Chris Bender. I do short segments called R&B stories, where I talk about R&B stories that happened. I talked about a story besides Chris Bender why did Destiny's Child get booed at at an NBA Finals game back in 2001, or the time where Diddy hit one of the producers of a video with a champagne bottle. So
I heard about that. Yeah,
stuff
allegedly.
yeah. It was hey, the story's out there. Basically, Diddy and Nas made a video, and I believe that it had anti-crosses. And Diddy was like, "Hey, can y'all take that out of the video?" But they couldn't take it out because they were going live. And so I guess Diddy retaliated, and he had some words with one of the producers, and he smashed his head with a champagne bottle. And the guy, I forgot the guy's name. I believe it's Tony something. He's like a record manager or something, and he told the story himself on the Breakfast Club. So that that was
so
Jesus
this actually,
Christ, man.
this is not allegedly. This actually went down for real.
Yeah, this actually went down for real.
Okay, gotcha.
You can find it everywhere. So I was like, okay, this can't be real, and I checked up other sources, which it was real, because the interviews about the guy being hit with the bottle, he's like, yeah, that was true. That actually happened.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, because I know I heard something about that, but it's been so a while back. But yeah, that's
it was in the 90s.
Right, exactly. So with Spellbound, off his second CD, which is called Draped. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So what was the song referencing about with the song called Spellbound?
Basically, it was just saying hey, I'm gonna have this girl, she's gonna be under my spell, once I get to know her. The similar R&B stuff. So I just really like the sound of it. It sounded like a young Luther Vandross, and it just had that New Jack swing, especially with the drums. It sounded like something Bobby Brown would sing, but he probably would just toss it out and be like, "No, I'm probably just gonna put this in storage. It's not for me. I'm gonna give it to someone else." So that's probably one of my favorite songs. So.
Okay, right, exactly. But yeah, it was very tragic with his death, though. As we mentioned before, and things. But yeah, that's I mean, that's the story in regards to it. They say that he shielded his cousin that was in the car with him when he got shot several times. They said 21 shots were fired, on the car or whatever, in the black Mercedes. So that went down on November the 9th, 1991. So so this is very, very sad, though. It's just this senseless gun violence. And you said it was more of a retaliation, or what, it had something to do with money or something old, or it
was something where the guys the gunmen, it was either mistaken identity, and they just shot up the car without checking who it was. So they just shot up the car. And I believe Chris wasn't the target; it was his cousin. He just shielded him. His cousin didn't get hit, but Chris got hit with 4 bullets. And that was it. He died on the hospital. They couldn't save him. That was it. That was the end of his career. And a lot of people, probably never heard this guy. I go listen to his music. It's just as, to me, it's wow, he had potential to probably be people we will be talking about now, but we may never know.
Okay.
We may never know if that will happen or not.
Sure, exactly. Yeah, his cousin name was Jesse Starks. So that
Hmm.
yeah, so that was his cousin. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, but he's actually is from Boston, and
Yeah,
things, and
yeah.
then moved to Brockton. But yeah, he's actually from Boston. Yeah, yeah. But
Cool,
yeah,
cool,
man,
cool.
that's really interesting, man. How you have done an excellent job of putting all this together and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's I mean, just every time I visit your page looking for more, I'm sure a lot of my audience for those that are into the music especially kind of can go to your particular page and pull this stuff up and check it out for themselves, because you got a nice little looking at some of the stuff here, I see things with John Witherspoon, and his
Yeah,
passing,
yeah,
yeah, he's a native
yeah. Oh
Detroiter,
yeah,
isn't he?
yeah.
Yeah, native Detroiter.
Yeah, yeah, he's a native. Yeah, he's a native Detroiter, man. And it was, it was just shocked that he, passed away like that.
Right.
Like everybody else, like you, like I grew up with John Witherspoon between Friday and the Wayans brothers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
Yep.
yeah, so seeing that guy, and you grew up with him, you probably knew dudes, or you had a dad or a grandfather like that.
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was
Right.
all bad. And also, um, I don't think I got into the the change and shift of my channel. Can I talk about that?
Oh, sure. Go right ahead.
So originally my channel was called Phoenix Kai, and I used to talk about anime, and it was doing okay, but it wasn't like getting the numbers I wanted. And like every video I kept doing was just like, okay, I really wasn't into it, or my passion was just gone. So I just switched it up to like R&B for something I liked and something I really want to listen to. Like the name Von the Stampede came from was from the anime Trigun. It was basically a Western anime, basically space cowboys, and one of the characters is called Vash the Stampede, and I just replaced Vash with Von the Stampede. And like one of the animes that kind of influenced me to do this channel. One is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, like Prince theme, and another one is you ever heard of the anime called Samurai Champloo?
I can't say of that one, but JoJo Star, I'm familiar with it, for sure.
Okay, okay. I'm all I'm gonna just say. Just think of Samurai and the Wu-Tang Clan Wu-Tang Clan music into
Okay.
the mix.
Huh.
And like for example, there's one episode. Okay, you watch the Boondocks, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, remember on season 3 in the Boondocks where they had that kickball tournament?
Yes.
Okay, so there's an episode on Samurai Champloo called Baseball Blues. Instead of kickball, they play baseball. And if you watch the episodes side by side, you could tell that Aaron McGruder like did like a tribute episode with that from the Boondocks. So
Mm-hmm.
I just like those little similarities in the music, especially hip hop and R&B. So I thought that was like really cool and interesting to do, especially I like music. Um,
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, you really are doing it though. I mean, like you said, you do your own graphic art as well to it, and you have a lot of unsung shorts that I'm looking at here. Some of the ones we touched on already. I haven't
Mhm.
got a chance to check out the one with Kieran White that you
Oh
have
yeah,
done. Yeah, Kieran White.
that
Yeah.
one. Yeah, Karen, like that one was really fun. Like, I think the only downside with that, I think I screwed up baby babyface name. I think I said Baby Edmund face or something.
Okay.
And I think I was like tired that day, and I didn't really catch up on that. But like that was really cool though, because with Karen White, when they did the BET tribute of I think of her, they was going like she was supposed to sing Superwoman, right? That was her song, but they got Fantasia to do it. So a lot of people were speculating like, hey, how come you didn't get Karen White? And I put it in the video for her explaining why she didn't perform the song. And to make a long story short, it wasn't that she didn't want to or wasn't available. Babyface and Terry Lewis didn't call her. They didn't call her. They didn't mention her. They just said we'll get Fantasia to do it, and that was very odd, because Babyface and Terry Lewis, they met, and they made that album for her, and Terry Lewis is her baby's daddy, so they like her daughter's all grown up, but still it's kind of like y'all still have somewhat of that connection.
Oh yeah, that's very odd though. Yeah,
very odd. So yeah, she explains it best. I put it in the video. I was like, wow, that's very odd, because I'm like, I mean, but like they haven't been together. Terry Lewis and Karen White, they haven't been together since the late '90s. So it's kind of like, well, y'all should, y'all should, what's the word I'm looking for? It's no big thing anymore, between y'all. It's like, hey, you got your life, I got mine,
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yep, exactly.
So yeah, yeah. So the Karen White, that one was fun to do. So.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, for Karen White. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. And now, what about the one here? Why Michael Jackson's Invincible tour? Are you saying that one never happened?
Yeah, that one never happened because looking at Michael's, history, not just the album, but his history of touring. He did all his touring, from like the Jackson 5 to the Jacksons, and him as a solo act. And Invincible tour was the one that fascinated me because I remember that album came out, it had a big buzz, and when he released the album, they were saying the album didn't sell as well as like History or his other albums, but it sold well. There were just some things that I speculated that didn't happen. One I put in the video was like one of his record managers was racist. Others could have been like, 9/11 happened and he didn't want to tour. Another thing happened, his children, so he probably didn't want to, leave them. And another thing was that the molestation charges came up again. So it was kind of like he couldn't really tour. It was just like, hey, he just couldn't do it. So that was strange, especially Michael is one of those big mega stars that hey, he's promoting the album and he ain't touring at all. Like that's just kind of odd. And the only thing we got close to that is the is it called the Mary Garden in New York? Probably saying it wrong, but the only thing we got close to that was that Michael Jackson 30th anniversary, where he did all his old songs, and he only did the song in Invincible called "You Rock My World." That was the only time he did that song live.
Okay, you're talking about Madison Gardens.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, the Madison Garden. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, the Madison Garden, where he did that little show, and that was it. And he performed "Rock My World" live. It was televised, and that was the only time he went live with that song. And that song wasn't like the song wasn't garbage or anything. It was really popular because this is the Michael Jackson who was in his 40s, keeping up with the younger crowd.
Sure.
So
yeah,
that I just put in like, okay, this what happened. Why the Invincible tour didn't happen, because I thought it could have been a really interesting tour if he didn't have to go through all that crap, because before his untimely death, he was going to do another tour called This Is It, and then that tour never happened.
Right, which is very, very odd in things. And I heard a lot of the conspiracies on that as well too, which I will not get into. But yeah, it just really, really just make you want to I mean, seriously,
Yeah. Yeah, it was just a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I mean, you could just say that because, like, from what I from looking at all the history of like Michael Jackson stuff, especially his touring, like I think Sony was like really upset because they was like, man, we're gonna lose like money because you're not touring. And it's like, well, I mean, what could you do?
Right, exactly. But yeah, what can you do? Yeah, exactly. But yeah. So you really covered a lot of artists and
Oh yeah.
things. So Drew Hill, and we just finished talking about Kieran White, Michael Jackson, to say the least. And then you also have the Destiny's Child thing here too.
Yeah, talked about that too.
Right. Yeah. So on closing, could you talk about that?
The Destiny's Child one?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So the Destiny's Child one, so basically, okay, so this happened in 2001 where I believe the Lakers and the Philadelphia 76ers was doing a finals. It was final season. So Destiny's Child, they wanted to do a performance. They was wearing like jerseys of like the 76ers and the Lakers. And they did their song, Bootylicious, so everything was normal. But after the song was done, the crowd booed at them. And you're like, why do they boo at them? The reason it was so petty. It was the reason why they booed at Destiny's Child because they were wearing Lakers jerseys, and the 76ers fans was not having that. So Solange was saying screw crowd, and Beyonce put up the middle finger. So they was just not having it at all. And it was such a petty reason that I thought it was really funny because I was like, wow, that was it. It wasn't the performance, it was what they were wearing. So
right, exactly.
That's what happened.
Okay.
And one thing I want to add. Mm-hmm. So if anybody is like wondering how to make a YouTube channel, my thing is like if you're doing like a YouTube channel, try to find your niche. Try to find what fits for you and just have fun with it. Don't try to think of it as like, oh yeah, I'm going to make money out of this and I'm going to quit my day job. Please don't do that because you are playing yourself because what YouTube would do, I'm just saying this from experience, it all depends on the subscribers and how much money they will get from the video. So I'm just giving you like, for example, like those videos I made was probably like $20 each, and I probably made like over like $100 from those videos. So I'm not like bragging. It's just not enough to be like, oh, okay, I can just quit my day job and do all that other stuff because that's just the worst mistake you can make. And another thing, you like when you're doing with videos, make sure you have like friends or family members who are willing to watch your stuff and share your stuff because I know a lot of people who do YouTube videos and they don't even share their stuff. Like you gotta fake it till you make it. It's okay like to share or post your videos on social media because a person is gonna watch that regardless. Also, what you're doing with your social media accounts or whatever, have Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, just to have like some type of traffic going because that's very important when you have like traffic. So or like your videos is translating over, which I mean like okay, somebody saw you from like TikTok, they may want to check out your YouTube channel just in case. You ain't got to be like super funny. You may want to like post like a trailer or something, like a 30-second trailer. It's just having people get their attention. So, like, the best thing you can do if you want to make a YouTube channel, have an idea. Don't get stressed out if you're not going to get the 100,000 views or anything like that, because I believe that people nowadays feel like they want to just go viral and be like, oh, well, I just went viral and that's how it works. And it doesn't work like that. Like, it took me, 8 years to go viral for like one video. So, and it's all because of look, because I know a guy, to make a long story short, I know a guy named Corey Coleman. Sorry if I put his business out there, but it's positive. He's been doing Access Television for the last 27 years. And he had a YouTube channel. One channel got taken over by another company. He had to sign in. He had to make his own company and bring all his fans back from that own company to check out his stuff. And he's been doing this for like, a good almost like 3 decades. And it requires hard work. So if you're not willing to do the hard work and keep your real job, then don't bother making content. Yeah, it's a lot to do, but still, if you got a passion for it, go ahead and do it. Sorry.
Exactly.
That's when I made my account. When I actually started putting out videos was back 2011.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't, because back then, 2007, I didn't have a camera or a microphone. And in 2011, I just started like, okay, I could just make some videos. And this is something I'm studying to do. And then right between when I graduated from college, I just started changing my, format, because the anime thing, it was cool, but it was like, what am I doing different that people will be willing to watch? That's the question you should always ask yourself as a content creator. What am I doing differently that will get people's attention?
Right.
And like for me, informative about R&B artists that people don't really talk about, and that's interesting to my audience. My audience like that because hey, it's something that they're familiar with and something that they can learn with. Because I got people who came up to me like, "Hey man, thank you for like that chat. Talking about Karen White, man. I really like Karen White. I hope like the real Unsung do that, man, or that I made their day, or took them back, to their youth." And I think that's amazing.
Right. That's really, really amazing though, but yeah, I really like how it's been been upfront and real when it come down to, okay, this is not an overnight success. I've been at this thing for a long time, finding a niche, and sticking with it, finding something that you're passionate about, something that works for you and things. So you see a lot of YouTubers out there that's doing YouTube and, which I find really interesting. A lot of them won't really show their earnings, which is personal, but they make it sound like they're just balling out of control,
No, man. My earnings is like getting an allowance. It's like, oh, here's this $100. I'm like, oh wow, and like you probably won't get your earnings depending on how much traffic your videos get. So you may not see that money until like a month or two.
Exactly.
So that's why I said, people, man, stick to your day job. If you got a job that's paying like $18, $20 an hour, and your YouTube is giving you like maybe $100, $200 out 2 months, keep your job.
Exactly. You are absolutely right about that, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it. You heard it from Vaughn, the Stampede, though. Yeah. We really thank you for this interview. He gave a very, very good interview when it come down to the Unsung shorts and stuff. Please support his channel. You can find him on. Go ahead, Vaughn. I'm gonna let you tell the audience where they can find you.
Yes, you can find me anywhere from Facebook, Twitch to Twitter at Vaughn the Stampede. That's VONTHESTAMPEDE. I'm going to spell it out for you one more time just in case you're a little slow. So that's Vaughn the Stampede. That's VONTHESTAMPEDE. So you can find me on all my social media platforms. I keep it simple and to the point. So, yes.
That is really, really great. Really cool. So, so I thank you all for listening, hearing Vaughn the Stampede speak. in regards to a lot of his unsung short R&B artists, some that you may know and some of you may not know, and maybe learn something and things. So put your hands together again for Von the Stampede.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. Yep. So I'm sure the audience definitely enjoyed this interview and things. And again, ladies and gentlemen, again, as you know, we thank you for being part of Corner for a Healthy Diet podcast episode number 9. I am your host, Adam Sinclair and things. And Von, I thank you once again for hanging out today, taking time out of your busy schedule to do this interview and things. So yeah, I really, really, really appreciate it.
And thank you for having me, Adam. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem at all. We're going to do another follow-up on this too and things. So I always tell people, whoever we interview, we always want to do like a part 2 to find out more people that you interview and things, and doing the shorts and things like that. So you got a lot of great material to work with. And again, you're very passionate about it. So I thank you so much for being part of the show, or being on the show and things. And ladies and gentlemen, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook and things. Just type in Corner for a Healthy Diet podcast episodes. You should be able to list all of the episodes that are listed there and things. So I thank you all for listening to Corner for a Healthy Diet podcast episode number 9. I'm your host, Adam Sinclair. You just heard Von the Stampede talking about the unsung shorts.
We can create a beautiful meal with and share with the world a kinder way to live. Corner for a Healthy Diet brings to you cooking good vegan, plant-based food.